From Software, known for their difficult but fair games, have done something both spectacular and also just a wee bit obnoxious. They have started a trend in which over the last decade continues to be replicated almost ad nauseum. And very recently, a new challenger joins the ranks. This is Wuchang, Fallen Feathers. Now I, Sage Armageddon, despite my faculty for games involving deep combat and fisticuffs, have had a less than favorable outlook regarding Soulsborne titles, more specifically the combat. My reasoning for this is that I found From Software games to create the illusion of challenge by limiting the player's ability to actually fight back effectively. Nothing short of memorizing a boss's attack patterns or cheese would allow for any sort of efficient method of attaining victory. In other words, games such as Dark Souls or Elden Ring have proven to be more of a knowledge check rather than mechanical or self-mastery. Because of this, I long ago made a grievous error, assuming that all games of the genre would play the same way. And while many certainly do take after their contemporaries, I have come to find a sort of passing interest in the unique ideas that other developers have implemented to expand the genre further. Games such as Neo 2, Rise of the Ronin, Lords of the Fallen, Steel Rising, and many others have caught my attention over the past few years. When I first saw a glimpse of the gameplay months ago, I was immediately intrigued, even though I was not aware that it was actually a Soulsborne style title, and now find it to be a very interesting adventure. You take on the role of the titular character Wuchang, who has apparently lost her memory, and thus embarks on an epic quest to find said memory. The game controls about how one would expect from a title in this genre, and still possesses the emblematic, almost sluggish hit-and-run combat that Souls games are usually known for, at least initially. One of the things I found to be very unique about Wuchang is how it rewards skillful defense and proper build structure with a buff known as Skyborn Might. This buff is related to the unique affliction that is affecting Wuchang, and it manifests as a colored aura around the left shoulder, with the color changing depending on how many stacks of this buff have been acquired. This buff can be spent in an assortment of ways, such as for casting spells, buffing abilities, and even increased damage. It took some dedicated time of practice for me to become familiar with how the mechanics work in this game, but I must say, I have come to truly appreciate the depth of the combat here. It is unique in how you initially enter battles handcuffed and blindfolded, just as in your typical From Software style game, only to have the restraints removed as you weave into an elegant, rhythmic dance of swift strikes and flourishes that are borderline hack and slash levels of graceful destruction. Thus, therein lies the aspect I truly respect the most about this game. This game has a stylish and addictive rhythm to it, earning a sense of power through well-executed and timed maneuvers, weaving the narrative into combat in a very expressive way. Additionally, aside from the combat, I find the game to be aesthetically well crafted. The environments and art direction are very well done for Studio Lindsay's first release. Also, I have heard quite a few reviewers refer to Wuchang Fallen Feathers as being similar to 2024's own Stellar Blade, which was also artistically interesting. But other than that, I am not certain what similarities have been witnessed. Ah, that's why they compare the two titles. But just aside, I do not see too many similarities between the two titles, outside of a few Souls-like influences, such as respawning enemies and the occasional bothersome and annoying difficulty spike. Speaking of difficulty spikes, Some of the jumps in difficulty you get in this game can be downright brutal. Take it from me, do not be lulled by all of the shiny things you get in the deluxe edition, as while it may feel like these additional tools trivialize the game's difficulty, that is far from the case once you start to progress further in the story. All that said, I do believe that players that enjoy Souls-like or combat-focused titles will gain a great deal of value from this title. I know that the game is not getting the best reception critically, as shown on Metacritic, but most of the negative ratings I have seen are primarily due to the game's apparently poor performance on the PC release, as well as some of the extreme swings in difficulty that many players encounter. Despite these negative impressions, I found this game is a rare gem that strikes well above its weight class when compared to the armada of Souls-like titles that have been released over the years, and thus I would highly recommend giving this one a try. While this is not a review, of course, I wish to give my own thoughts on the game after having put in well over 30 hours. If you do try it out, or have tried it already, feel free to leave a spoiler-free comment about your own thoughts and experiences. But with that being said, this has been Sage Armageddon. Until we meet again.
Be seeing ya.